how you doing? Welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us. In a moment, we'll be joined by Oriole outfielder Brady Anderson. He'll tell us about hanging with Cal Ripken and what's up with Bo. First, to check on some of the welcome back to Up Close. Thanks for staying with us, and say hello to Brady Anderson, the outfielder for the Orioles, former All-Star. Nice to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here.
All right, who would have thought that you would be in a home run race at the quarter point of the season, showing off all of this power? But indeed, it is a fact. For real, where's the power coming from?
I have no idea.
Really? Come on.
Well, I don't know. It's probably a combination of things. I worked out real hard this offseason.
With weights?
I always work out with weights, but maybe this year I was a little more motivated. Sometimes it takes something to really motivate you. I thought I had a real solid year last year, and come to find out they're sort of looking for a new leadoff hitter. So I think you can take that anger that generates and turn it into a powerful motivator. I remember the day that I found out we were going after Tony Phillips. I remember just having one of the best workouts I ever had, just out of almost frustration and anger. But I think you can use that in a positive way also. So
Davey Johnson, Tony Phillips went on to the White Sox, and Davey Johnson had talked about bringing in a leadoff hitter in Baltimore. So it obviously upset you. Did you go in and talk to him about it?
I never had to talk to him. I think by the time he looked at my numbers and what I had done, he had decided that I was a good leadoff hitter. Matter of fact, the first thing he said to me when I came to spring training was, you're my everyday center fielder, my leadoff hitter. You get on base fine. He goes, I don't have a problem with your on-base percentage or the amount of runs you scored. He wanted me to do some more things like bunt. I just think he really had never seen me play, and after watching me in spring training, I think he was satisfied with me as a leadoff hitter.
Well, through the Red Sox, your organization hailed as the next Fred Lynn. You come to Baltimore, and then they try to turn you into a Brett Butler, and this is continuing. Why?
Those are difficult times for me. Not knowing what kind of player I was going to be in the big leagues to begin with, and then having people try to change me constantly. I'm not really a bunter or someone who slaps the ball the other way. I can drive the ball. When I came to the minors, I really didn't have any power the other way. All my power was to right center. And I think that's the other thing this year. In spring training, I really learned how to use power to center field, where if I'm going to drive the ball, a lot of my home runs have been to left center and to center field. And if you can hit the ball out of center field, it gives you a lot of confidence at the plate. Stay on the ball a little longer.
And the confidence and the hint of another leadoff man's the driving force behind the power, at least the attitude. In fact, when you were at the time leading the major leagues in home runs recently, the Milwaukee Brewers checked your bat for cork. What difference does the cork make?
They were just what difference is it? I don't know. I've never used a cork bat, but
oh, you haven't used it?
I kind of made a joke about it, like I did with Tim Kirchin, who was doing a story on me. Robbie Alomar said that the Brewers were just in my bat room looking for the bats, and they were trying to find my bats. And I made a little joke that they weren't there because they were in the other room getting corked.
But you have not used cork?
No, I never have. I've never even swung a cork bat in BP. It's actually a compliment. My ultimate goal is to have a manager confiscate my bat during the game. I keep waiting for that to happen, and people are saying it's going to happen. And so that'll be the highlight of my career when they take one of my bats.
The ultimate compliment when they think you're corking your bat for the home run ball. You've averaged 93 runs over the last 4 seasons. We talked about your leadoff ability being questioned, and it's interesting. If you were measuring top leadoff hitters of all time in baseball, the aggregate bases per season would be a way to do it. Now, this doesn't include this year's numbers for you, which would be over 400, but total bases plus walks, steals, and times hit by pitches minus the times caught stealing and grounded into double plays. And for Pete Rose, we just figured his first 21 seasons in that leadoff spot. So you're in some pretty good company there. Who, in your mind, is the best leadoff man in the game?
Definitely, I think it's Kenny Lofton.
He doesn't have the power that you've exhibited.
Well, I think the reason he's become the best leadoff hitter is because his power numbers keep increasing. He had that one, I think his best year was going to be the strike-shortened year where he was, his slugging percentage was in the 5s. He's definitely the best base stealer in the game. He always hits for high average. He's always hitting around 330, it seems. His on-base average is high, and his slugging average is high, so he's unbelievable. But after that, it kind of drops off a little bit after him.
If you show a lot of power as a leadoff man, are you criticized for that? Because
no, I don't think so. I think they might view you a little differently. I don't know what if there's a certain prototype that they think leadoff hitter is supposed to be, but I think that you should, Ricky Henderson and Kenny Lofton, those are the two guys that stand out in my mind as, Kenny Lofton, the best of this generation, and Ricky Henderson, probably the best of all time. And those guys that can drive the ball and hurt you if you make a mistake as a pitcher.
Some of your power, you talk about weights and working out. Muscle and Fitness magazine, you have appeared in that magazine. There you are in the June issue.
You can get that off anytime.
You take this stuff pretty seriously.
Yeah, I work out hard. I take it real seriously.
How many hours a day?
I don't have any real set workout. I'd say I'm always doing something. I love competing in athletics, whatever it is, whether it's racquetball, tennis. I got a rowing machine that I sort of went nuts on this year. So the hours a day, I don't know, but it seems like 4 or 5 hours a day is spent getting ready to work out or working out. I don't actually work out for 4 or 5 hours, but it takes that much of my day.
Yeah, some players have told me that too much weight lifting can make them too stiff. Now, you got to be careful you don't wind up like some of the other guys in that magazine where you end up looking like that, right? Now, that guy, that's you maybe in a few years if you keep it up. Now, he probably would have a tough time getting around on a fastball.
I don't know. I have no chance of getting like that. Everyone has a little different body type. No matter how heavy or how hard I lift, I'm never going to look like that. And I'm an athlete who basically stays lean very easily, but has a hard time putting on weight. So the harder I work out, the better it is for me.
All right, later the Baltimore heartthrob Brady Anderson. We'll address that with him. Up next, we'll talk about manager Davey Johnson in hot water with Cal Ripken or Bobby Ball. We talked about how Brady dealt with his little misunderstanding about the leadoff man. We'll continue with Brady Anderson of the O's. It's been 13 years since the Orioles have been in the postseason. Last year, underachievers, finishing again below 500. This year, with Brady Anderson and the team doing a little bit better, a better set. Do you credit the turnaround Pat Gillick, the new GM, or Davey Johnson, the new manager?
That's definitely a combination of both of them. It starts probably with our ownership and Peter Angelos and his commitment to having a good team. He went out and got a great general manager and a great manager, and it sort of starts from there.
How is Davey Johnson?
He's great. He's a great manager to play for. He's had a lot of experience. So when you have a manager with experience, I think it brings instant credibility to the club, and he's brought that to us.
He's run into some problems. Bobby Bonilla didn't like being put in that designated hitter role, talked about wanting to be traded, had some words, and then there was the Cal Ripken situation also about possibly moving Cal to third. He actually pinch ran for Cal in a game, batted him seventh in a game. So he's been questioned. Is it fair for players in these instances to question what the manager is doing?
Well, each of those cases are different. Bobby Bonilla is totally different than Cal in the way he's going to deal with something. Bobby's very vocal, and he's not afraid to vent his frustration through the press, which gets him in trouble sometimes. Bobby's a great guy. Everyone on the team likes him, and he's a great teammate to have. But when you sit around your locker with 20 people with pens and papers in their hands, and you're frustrated, it sort of is going to make you look bad sometimes, and I don't think he meant it to be that way.
Were those selfish comments Bobby made about not wanting to do it?
I wasn't there when he made them, so I can't judge. I don't look as Bobby as a selfish player.
Do the Orioles have a better chance of winning with Bobby Bonilla than without him?
Well, we have the best chance of winning when Bobby's playing like he can right now. He probably has 26 RBIs. He's probably on a pace close to 90 RBIs, and he hasn't even done anything yet like he can do. He struggled the whole year. So we're going to be a way better ball club when he's swinging the bat well, which he can. I think the hard part was for Bobby is that he was told, I think, to my understanding, right before the season started, and he really didn't have any time to adjust to the idea of being the designated hitter, and then he started struggling. It probably went through his mind, maybe the reason I'm struggling is because I'm a DH. And so somehow, if he's going to be the DH, he has to get it in his head that this is how it's going to be. I'm not going to let anything affect me.
The discussion of asking with an injury situation at third base, Cal Ripken to move over to third. What's the big deal?
That's something strange, too. I don't think Davey understood how big of a deal it was going to be. He might have just wanted to move Cal there for a few days so he could watch Manny Alexander. Cal came out and said he would do whatever Davey wanted.
Right, he's always been that kind of...
I think it's kind of strange. It's almost, in a way, it's a tribute to Cal to think that they could so easily move him to a position that he hasn't played in 15 years and have him pick it up right away. But Cal's one of those players who when he's on the field, you sometimes don't notice him because he does so many things well, but he's not spectacular. He doesn't make flashy barehanded plays like Omar Vizquel. But when he's off the field, you notice, and I think that's going to be the biggest tribute to him is when he finally is not playing shortstop, you're going to really miss his presence out there. And as an outfielder, even as an outfielder, center fielder, it's not the same. When he's not on the field at shortstop, it just doesn't feel right.
Pat Gillick questioned the nucleus of this Oriole team if it had enough to win championship style. That's a shot at you, at Cal, in a sense. What's your response to that?
I didn't hear what his quote was, and but not being there and hearing in what context.
If someone were to question,
I think he just said that we hadn't won since '83. I don't think he was singling anyone out like Cal.
No, he didn't single anyone out, but Brady referring to maybe a dead clubhouse or maybe an atmosphere and energy that is needed to provide the kind of the launch that this team needs to win to have success.
That's hard. That's really hard for me to say because, like I said, I didn't hear him say it.
But is that I mean, do you sense that? Does the clubhouse need a little more?
I think we have. If you were in our clubhouse and saw how it was on a day-to-day basis. In a way, it's kind of strange because this team gets along really well. But there's so much, like the Bonilla controversy now, the Cal moving to third base, that it almost seems like we're a team that there's a lot of controversial things going on. We're really, in the clubhouse, it's not like that. It's very calm, and then things are going along as normal.
And where should Davey Johnson fit in as the manager of this group if it needs a kick?
Davey, he's the manager of the club, and he has respect of his players. If he needs to make a move or do anything, we have to, go along with his decision. I think, Cal might not even realize it yet, but the fact that he was talked about being moved to third is going to turn out to be a great thing for him, I think.
Why is that?
Like I said earlier, in the same way that I was motivated by talk of me not being good enough to be a leadoff hitter, I've seen it in Cal where even somebody like Cal, who's so good, needs a little motivation sometimes to get him going. Having to read about himself that he'd lost a step. I know that would drive him nuts. And so maybe he'd start believing himself and he's going to work a little harder to, if he in fact did lose a step, I guarantee you he'll have it back.
Yeah, later we'll address that memorable night when Cal set the record. And of course, Brady was there writing a speech to talk about Cal Ripken's great accomplishment. We're with Brady Anderson of the Orioles up close. And when we come back, we'll talk to him about that image of being Baltimore's heartthrob, the matinee idol. Don't go away.